Welcome back to the channel. Today is an absolutely packed day for everyone playing Zenless Zone Zero because HoYoverse has just dropped a whole wave of official announcements. I think this is the perfect time to sit down, gather everything together, and break it all down for you, separating what's officially confirmed from what still needs more time, so you can get a clear picture without getting carried away by the hype. Let's start with the biggest and most important news. Version 3.1, titled The Long Goodbye, is officially scheduled to launch on July 29th, 2026. What makes this update especially exciting is that it isn't just another regular patch. It also coincides with the game's second anniversary, so you can expect HoYoverse to put significantly more effort and content into this release than they typically do with a standard update. Now let's talk about the new characters. The two names officially confirmed as the highlights of version 3.1 are Remielle and Sigrid. According to the latest special program, the new story chapter will revolve around Remielle, while also marking Sigrid's debut in the main storyline, all within the broader narrative of Season 3. Personally, I think this is a very smart approach. Instead of simply releasing a standalone character, HoYoverse has chosen to tie both of them into the same story arc, making the overall narrative feel much more cohesive rather than introducing new characters that have little connection to the main plot. If you remember the earlier Season 3 character reveal, HoYoverse also introduced an impressive lineup of upcoming characters, including Norma, Valina, Claret, Roxy, Sigrid, Phoenix, Severian, the Storyteller, Remielle, and Sunbringer. That's clearly a substantial roster, showing that the Season 3 character roadmap has been planned well in advance. That said, I still want to remind everyone of one very important point. HoYoverse has explicitly stated that the characters shown in the teaser are still under development and may be subject to changes before release. So if you come across someone claiming they know the complete character kits, the exact banner schedule, or the precise release order for every character on that list, take it with a grain of salt. It's fine to treat those discussions as speculation, but don't accept them as confirmed information, because even the developers themselves haven't finalized those details yet. Now let's move on to what I think most of you are looking forward to the most, the second anniversary rewards. And honestly, HoYoverse is being incredibly generous this time. According to the official reward overview, players will be able to choose one limited S-rank agent from a selection that includes Jane, Soldier Zero, Anby, Trigger, Lucia, and Hugo. On top of that, you'll also be able to claim the corresponding W engine for whichever agent you choose. This is something I really appreciate because instead of making it random or forcing players down a specific path, HoYoverse is letting everyone choose based on the needs of their current roster. If your account is missing a strong DPS or a key support, this kind of flexibility is incredibly valuable. Beyond the free agent and W engine, players will also receive 1,600 Polychromes, 20 encrypted master tapes, 10 Boupons, along with an exclusive anniversary avatar and commemorative title celebrating the game's second anniversary. When you add everything together, this is easily one of the most generous free reward packages the game has ever offered. It's enough to make meaningful progress toward building another character without having to spend any additional money. There's also one more nice little bonus. Lucy will be receiving a free outfit through the Summer Waves Roll-In event, giving the anniversary celebration a fun seasonal vibe that fits the summer theme perfectly. One more point I want to emphasize, because it has a direct impact on the pull plans of longtime players, is that version 3.1 will add Tsukishiro Yanagi, Caesar, and Zhu Yuan, along with their signature W engines, to the custom search system. For those of you who have been saving up plenty of Polychromes and are still undecided about which character to target next, this is extremely important news. It significantly expands the range of options available, and overall, version 3.1 is shaping up to be an update where both new players and veteran players can benefit in their own ways. Now let's move on to what I think is the biggest headline outside of version 3.1 itself. HoYoverse has officially confirmed a crossover between Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail, scheduled to take place in winter 2026. This marks the first official crossover between the two games, and Personally, I think it's a very exciting development. It suggests that HoYoverse is looking to connect its game ecosystem more closely, creating stronger synergy between the communities of both titles. That said, I also want to be completely honest with you. Right now, there are very few concrete details about the collaboration. We still don't know which characters will appear, what the gameplay will look like, whether there will be a dedicated banner, or how the crossover event will actually be structured. None of those details have been revealed yet, and HoYoverse has clearly stated that players will need to wait for more information in future announcements. So if you come across people claiming with absolute certainty that a specific character will be part of the crossover, there's a very good chance it's nothing more than personal speculation rather than official information. My advice is to stay excited, but also keep a level head until HoYoverse shares the details themselves. Besides those two major highlights, there are also several smaller events that are definitely worth paying attention to, since they offer rewards that directly benefit your account. The first is the First Generation Void Hunter Returns event, which begins on July 17th and runs until September 9th, 2026. During this event, players can pre-register to receive 160 Polychromes along with a commemorative name card. If you invite returning players or new players to join the game, you'll also have the opportunity to earn up to 340 additional Polychromes. That's not all. As part of the event's 7-day check-in campaign, players who log in for all 7 days will receive another 480 Polychromes. When you add everything together, this becomes a very generous source of free Polychromes, especially if you're trying to save enough currency to target Remielle or Sigrid once version 3.1 officially arrives. Alongside the major announcements, there are also a couple of smaller community-focused events worth keeping an eye on, as they offer extra rewards and keep players engaged while everyone waits for the next big update. The first is Operation Yum 2026, running from July 17th to July 23rd, featuring Ellen, Minato, and Crispy Boo. Rather than introducing new gameplay content, this event focuses on community participation and offers a chance to win exclusive real-world merchandise. It may not have a direct impact on your builds or team compositions, but it shows that HoYoverse continues to invest in community activities, giving players something fun to look forward to even between major patches. There's also a small but amusing detail that caught my attention. The developers released a playful in-universe notice claiming they had received reports of a mysterious Bang Boo appearing around 6th Street, and that the case was currently under investigation. It sounds like a light-hearted joke at first, but longtime HoYoverse fans know the studio loves hiding little Easter eggs like this to spark community discussion. Who knows? It might even be a subtle teaser for something that will become relevant in a future update. For anyone who hasn't been keeping up with the recent updates, here's a quick recap to put everything into context. The current version 3.0, titled A Sleepwalker's Confession, officially kicked off Season 3, Chapter 1, introducing new agents such as Valina, Norma, and Pyrois, along with the new region Roskalefer, Buistrom, and a variety of new gameplay systems. In other words, version 3.1 isn't arriving out of nowhere. It's a direct continuation of the Season 3 storyline that began in version 3.0. So if you want to fully understand the story and the roles of Remielle and Sigrid when 3.1 launches, it's definitely worth revisiting or catching up on the version 3.0 content first. Finally, there's one more piece of news that's worth mentioning, especially for anyone planning to play the game on PC. Zenless Zone Zero has officially arrived on Steam, with its store page now live alongside a wishlist milestone campaign. If the community reaches the required wishlist goals, players can earn rewards of up to 60 Polychrome and 6,666 Dennies. That said, there is one important detail to keep in mind. At launch, the Steam version only supports selected servers, including America, Europe, Asia, and TWHK-MO. So if your current account is on a server outside of those regions, you're probably better off sticking with the official launcher to avoid any compatibility or account-related issues. To wrap things up, this is easily one of the biggest and most exciting waves of official news that Zenless Zone Zero has received in quite some time. Version 3.1, titled The Long Goodbye, is set to launch on July 29th, bringing generous second anniversary rewards, the debut of Remielle and Sigrid, and the officially announced crossover with Honkai Star Rail, scheduled for later this winter. If you ask me, now is the perfect time to start planning ahead. Save up your Polychrome, take full advantage of the events that are currently available, and make sure you don't miss out on all the free rewards leading up to the update. As for everything that hasn't been officially revealed yet, I still recommend waiting for confirmation from HoYoverse instead of relying on unverified rumors or leaks. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with the latest Zenless Zone Zero news, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any future updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.